Hey everybody, it's Morgan from For Love of Paper, and I am here sharing my Tic Tac Toe Scrappy Challenge with you all. So the image that was just up on the screen is the challenge over on Kitaholic's kits. I will leave a link to the community group below, so you can jump over this weekend and join us for National Scrapbooking Day. So the idea is to pick a row or a column or a diagonal line and use those 4 products to create your layout. So for my challenge, what I chose was, sorry, I've just forgotten what I had chosen. Oops. It was yellow, stars, stamps, and ink or spray. So I used all of those on this layout, and I am using a Kitaholic's kit from last year. I think it was the July kit, possibly. It's one that I had. I didn't have much time to scrap around that time of the year last year, and I had most of this one left over, unfortunately. I think I had used it and made a couple of layouts or something, but I had quite a bit left over, so I pulled it out and decided to do this little traveler's notebook. So this is actually part 5 in my photo a week series. I will have the other parts coming up later, so I'm kind of working a bit backwards here, but that's okay. So I had this photo here. The challenge for this week's photo was the color purple, and I love the color purple, but I don't have a lot of purple around me. Like, nothing in my house is really purple, and nothing else is really purple. But my dad happened to send me this photo of the sunset at his place, and he lives in New Zealand, and they get some amazing sunsets and sunrises, far better than what we get here. So he quite often sends me the really nice ones, and this one just happened to be purple. So I was like, yes, that's my photo for the week. And even though I didn't take it, I received it and I appreciated it, so I used it for this layout. And it was such a stunning color. Like, the color, I'm sure the photo doesn't even do it justice as what it would have been in real life. But anyway, so I trimmed down the pattern paper to fit on my traveler's notebook page. Now, I think I realized why sometimes I have a bit of problem with this traveler's notebook. It's because the pages are cream, and I generally work with white. So I know a few times I've struggled when I've been doing my layouts in here, and I think that's why. It's because the page is cream and all the pattern papers and whatnot are all white, or their background's white, or they've got white accents. So to me, cream and white just don't sit well together in my eye, and I think that's why I was having issues. So for this one, I cut down this piece, which was predominantly white with the little bit of color up in that top right hand corner, and then I also had this green and white spotty piece that I was going to use on the other side of the page. That actually doesn't end up staying there. I'm pretty sure I go and get a piece of just computer paper, A4 computer paper, and trim that down to put on the other side to make it white on both sides. And now I'm cutting down this piece because I really wanted that green on there. I really liked that minty green. I think when I originally had chosen my tic-tac-toe line, I had picked the one that had mint in it, and then I must have forgotten halfway through doing this layout, so that's why I was using the mint, and then I realized and added the yellow back in. So I kind of did 2 lines in the challenge. I'm outlining this black piece with some white with one of my Posca pens. I think it just needed it to pop a little, just needed to stand out a little bit more, which is why I had done that. And this is where I was deciding that I didn't want that green piece anymore. Since I'd cut that tag out, I wanted white. Yeah, that's what I went and got, a piece of A4 paper, and it's almost the right almost the right height. I only had to trim a tiny little bit off the bottom to get it to fit, which is pretty handy if you work in this size traveler's notebook. Mine is, I think, 21, where are we, centimeters? It's 22 centimeters across and 21 centimeters high, so almost a square. So now just gluing or taping all of that down. I probably should have used my glue stick for this one, but if you've watched my videos, you know I love my tape. Some people hate it, but I don't know, I don't mind. I like it, and I can be a bit more frugal with it because I'm pretty cheap. I like to stretch things out and make them last as long as possible. I get that from my grandfather. He's Scottish, so he was known for making things last, or reusing things to get a second life out of them. And there you go. If you can see here, when I finally get it, it's just the tiniest little slither that I had to cut off the bottom there, and then a little bit off the side because I cut it too big. And what else do I add to this one? I think this is when I start, oh no, I'm going to tape this piece down, and then I start building my my little clusters around the place. And I did some stamping on this one, and I haven't used my stamps for quite a while, so it was fun to get them out and have a bit of a play. I've got to use them more since I tidied up my craft area and reorganized everything again. I found a few old things that I was missing, or not missing, forgot I had. Let's be real, I'd forgot I had them. So it's always nice to go through your stash and have a little bit of a purge and a little bit of a sort and tidy, because you find all sorts of things you've forgotten, or you'd misplaced, or thought you'd lost, or in some cases couldn't even remember buying and didn't know where it came from. So it's like having new supplies all over again, and I didn't have to spend a cent, which is awesome. So I had a bit of trouble sticking this one down. I was trying to get it nice and straight so I didn't have to trim any more off the side, hence the sticking and re-sticking. And see, look, using the tape, you can peel off bit by bit so you can get it right. Making this little embellishment cluster. Now normally I will, in a tag, I'll like hole punch the top and put some thread through it, but because it's in my traveler's notebook, I didn't want it to be too bulky. And the previous page I'd actually put a couple of little bits of wood veneer on it. So that was already a bit bulky. I didn't want to add too much more. So this is just a tag on its own. And sticking the photo down. Oh, did I only stick part of it? Oh, that's right, because I wanted to stick something underneath it. Getting out all these other bits and pieces. I think I'd only used one piece out of this ephemera pack, or die cut pack, whatever you would like to call it. So there was lots and lots of goodies to try and find, and I ended up pulling out, what did I pull out? Wonderful. Yeah, that little wonderful that's sitting on top there. It's a pinky red color off to the left. Pretty sure that's what I end up going with. And also that star piece, because I knew I needed some yellow. That's when I remembered. And oh, maybe I don't pull out that wonderful piece. Oh. It's funny going back and watching and seeing what you do. And for those of you who are playing along with us, oh, that little sticker says beautiful day, and it's in gold foil. Those of you who are playing along with the challenge over on the Kitaholics Kit community group, there is so much going on today for National Scrapbooking Day. We've already had, I think, by the time this goes up, 3 or 4 live videos. I've done a live video, which was pretty scary, and couple of others. I can't remember. I'm sorry. There's too many things going on in my head at the moment. A couple of other girls have done their live streams as well. So I will leave a link to the community group below, so you can jump over and join in the fun for this weekend. And even more exciting, it's a long weekend here in sunny Queensland. So I get Monday to scrap as well. I mean, I'm at home anyway. It's not like I go to work, but my husband's here, so he's on kid duty, and I can get a little bit more scrapping done, which is super exciting. I'm hoping to get quite a few layouts done with this month's, which is, what are we, May's kits, which is so fun. I can't wait to get into them. I got mine on Wednesday, I think it arrived, and I still haven't been able to play with it. It's super sad. Yeah, so I hope some of you come over and join us. The fun. There's lots of challenges and lots of prizes, and we've got some awesome sponsors who have kindly given us some prizes to give away. So I finished off that embellishment cluster, not really embellishment cluster, the photo cluster. This is quite a simple layout, really. I didn't add too much to it. And the stamps, I end up getting out the little word that says this was, and then I got the big scripty word that says "you're beautiful," and that kind of becomes my title when I get it stuck down. Oh, look, there's a fly buzzing around. That's funny. I did not notice that when I filmed or when I was editing this. Now I'm just watching it back on the voiceover, and I noticed that fly buzzing around. Oh, I hate the flies. They annoy me so much. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But I try. We have fly screens on every door and every window except for the garage, because we've got an internal garage door, and they always seem to come in there. As soon as someone opens that darn garage door, the flies are inside. It drives me bonkers. So this is where my stamping comes in. And I was trying to work out where I was going to put my title, and I ended up putting it down there where I've got it at the moment. But I think my ink might be running out a little bit because it didn't stamp quite so well. So I ended up getting my pen and going back over the letters, and because that part that says perfect moment, that's like a shiny sticker, the ink didn't stick to that. But yeah, it was a bit dull when I stamped it, so I had to go over it, unfortunately. So I might have to either get a new ink pad or re-ink this one. I may have some re-inker lying around somewhere. And what else do I add? I think I add a few more stamps, and I do have to apologize. The end of this video, it cuts off before I actually finish the layout. I end up doing some journaling up the top of the photo page in the kind of the middle of the layout, I guess, and I also add some yellow ink splatters into the layout. I'll put some close-up photos at the end so you can see what I did, but sadly it cut that off. So this one I added in a couple of arrow stamps, and then this stamp was a tiny little cluster of 5 crosses or stars. So I just dotted them around the page, and that's this layout pretty much done. And again, the ink didn't stick to that sticker, so I had to go in and go over the crosses again, clean off my ink pad, clean off my stamp holder, what are they called? Stamp block. And then in this top corner, as I have done with all my other layouts, I just write what the photo challenge was. And that's all for this layout, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!